Quapaw Nation Business Committee regular meeting for Saturday, June 21st, 2025 will now come to order at 9 a.m. Everett Bandy, would you please lead us in the invocation this morning? Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please take roll call and declare quorum?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Chair Supernall.
Present.
Vice Chair McKibben. Present. Secretary Treasurer Valier. Present. Member Mercer.
Present.
Member Davis. Present. Member Buffalo.
Present.
Member Gibbswater.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Would you now call for the orders of the day?
Madam Chair, I call for the orders of the day.
Thank you. Business Committee, are there any corrections to the documents listed as part of the consent agenda? The consent agenda includes the May 17th, 2025 meeting minutes, the directors and subcommittee reports as submitted. Hearing no objections, we'll go ahead and proceed to the vote. All those in favor of adopting and approving the May 17th, 2025 meeting minutes, the directors and subcommittee reports as distributed, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The May 17th, 2025 meeting minutes, the directors and subcommittee reports are adopted as distributed. We'll go on to the Business Committee report. The following tribal members passed away since we last met: Cheryl Ann Sisk, Richard Wayne Roundsville, James Howard Anderson, Deanne McCarthy, and Lori Ann Holt. Please lift these Quapaw families and all families in your prayers, and let us join in a moment of silence. We do have some announcements this morning. Member Mercer, would you please provide a Ray Property Homes O-Guah-Pah project update?
Madam Chair. As of right now on the homes, we have 10 residents that are residing in the homes. We have one signed lease who will be moving back from Washington State. We have 3 that are waiting to get their utilities on and sign their leases, and that leaves 2 of the 16 homes now open for residents, but they expect those to be signed sometime next week, so the first 16 will be full. We, at 17, 18, we're putting flooring down now, then they will have to be trimmed and go from there. 19 through 21, they're getting siding on those. We need the electrical, your mechanical, your plumbing, we need that stubbed out and rough and finished on installing that before we can move on. They are waiting sheetrock, house 22, 23. They need the doors and windows, which I believe they installed those yesterday. 24 through 26 need doors and windows, and they can move right on down with siding on those. They moved equipment down Friday. Monday they will start digging the footings on the remainder of the homes, so within 2 weeks we hope to have footings and floors in for all the remaining homes, and then it'll just be a matter of setting them up, finishing them out. That is about pretty much it.
That is wonderful progress. 10 Quapaw families residing in those homes. That's awesome.
And it will probably be somewhere in November, December, and we should have all 30 homes completed.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Member Buffalo, would you please provide an update on our latest negotiations with the state of Oklahoma regarding our tobacco compact?
Madam Chair, and be kind of brief. I don't feel real well today, but as reported last month, the business committee, along with 3 other tribes, tried the legislative route to get a tobacco compact. Unfortunately, once again, the governor did not negotiate in good faith. The House was going to pass it. The Senate was going to pass it. And then Chairman and the Secretary Treasurer each spent a day lobbying in Oklahoma City for the bill. Second day, Secretary Treasurer was there. It was quite evident after talking to members of the Senate that they weren't going to pass it. I think, she can correct me if I'm wrong, I think she told the senators, you were elected for the people, not to serve the governor. Paraphrasing. So we're right back where we were with no compact, but the nation is looking at some alternative, which I think one will be favorable, and we'll be right back in the compacting business.
Thank you. Would you also give an update regarding the transition of the Claremore Indian Hospital from IHS to the Cherokee Nation?
Well, Madam Chair, that's kind of up in the wilderness too right now. As the Cherokees presented a proposal to IHS to contract an in-house service hospital in Claremore. And after they get the resolutions from the nations, they change their mind. They're going to, this is supposed, we're supposed to hear from Travis from Watts from the area office. But now they propose to tear down the clinic, the hospital, and build a clinic and move a lot of inpatient services to Tahlequah. And I was on a phone call with the United Kituah Band and several of the nations involved this past week, and they're going to oppose it. And what the Cherokees want to do, because they want to do away with all the federal employees also. That's some 400 plus people. They don't want to do IPAs. They want them to reapply for their jobs. And the Kituahs are concerned that they'll follow the Cherokee guidelines, hiring guidelines, and most of those people won't be rehired. And if they are, they'll be at lower wages. And it will be up to this committee when Travis gives us information on what's really going on, whether they're withdrawal or previous resolution supporting the hospital and opposing it. And that's where it stands right now.
Thank you. So given that date of October 1, we've still got time to respond based on additional information that hopefully will come forward. Thank you. Vice Chair McKibben, would you give an update on the recent trash pickup and road improvement?
Yes, ma'am, gladly. Good morning. But Monday, June 2nd, several citizens and employees of Quapaw Nation, we picked up trash from Promenade Bridge all the way to the daycare. It was an afternoon thing, got kind of hot. Thanks to all the folks that did come out, and to those who couldn't make it, definitely understand because it got very warm that day. We thought about doing it in the morning, but then you're fighting the dew of wading through and getting wet basically up to your waist and your knees with the dew in the morning. So we elected to do that in the afternoon when the grass was and the weeds were dry. So please be conscious, and if there's a place that you can stop and throw your trash away at the gas station or the anywhere besides on the side of the road. So let's try to do that and keep our place looking pretty. Hopefully the environmental department said they plan to do it like from Tar Creek Bridge towards Quapaw. So in the future, if anybody wants to help out with that, hopefully the weather will be nice and the weeds will be shorter, and we'll get that done to help beautify our reservation and our lands. And as you can see, the road from the mile section just east of the new Holmes properties has the new blacktop coating on it. Mike Furness, the county commissioner, was pleased with the trial run that they did that first mile section east of the daycare. So they elected to go on and do it from that mile section all the way to Promenade Bridge, and it's been coated and striped. So some of the stripes you can see have been driven on and left some tracks in different places, but that is also complete, and hopefully that will increase the longevity and the life of that road and make that pavement a little more sealed and durable. So, one other note, the graduation party last weekend was a success. Steva, Molly, and Krista put on a really nice reception and gathering for folks, and some of our folks came out and sang for them. It was a really nice banquet for those folks who graduated, so we were pleased with that. And as always, Molly and Krista and Steva work hard to make that happen and put a really nice event on for our folks, so we're grateful to that department for doing that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Member Gives Water, would you please give an update on the powwow grounds and longhouse improvements?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, kind of fighting sinuses here. Landscape scope and civil is 100%. We have currently 90% final drawings. We should have the rest by powwow. And come that time, we're going to sit down between the business committee, the executive director of facilities, the grounds committee, and the TIPO to make sure we're in compliance with everything that we need to be before anything ever gets started. So that way we can not have as less hiccups as we possibly can, because you know how things come up. After that, we're gonna have them make a 3D presentation, so that way, because not everybody reads logistical site plans the same. So a 3D presentation is a much better option. I'm gonna come to the cultural committee and the elders committee and show it to you, like I've been saying this whole time. Do the best I can to include you guys and see what your feedback is on the plans itself. That's where we're at. We're at 90% on the drawings, though. The longhouse is just about there. All the construction is complete with the vendor. All we have left is painting it, cosmetic, putting in appliances, and then making it look nice. So we're just about wrapped up. We should be ready. Should be ready to go, and that's pretty much all I got until we have that 100%. That's when I'll move around and come see everybody. But
I think for those events during powwow that are scheduled to utilize the longhouse, they're going to have those unfinished areas taped off.
yes, and if our goal has always been to have everything completed by powwow, but with the month of June comes a lot of work down at the grounds and the whole team, because we have to get the entire tract of land ready. So in the event that it's not ready, the east end, the open area of the longhouse will be available for use. However, if it's not, I'm gonna have everybody put everything inside the kitchen and lock the doors, so that way nobody can get in there, you know, mess around with stuff, you know how kids can be sometimes. So I just wanna let you all know that. But the east end will definitely be open and available for anybody, however you wanna do during powwow time. It's all good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you provide an update on the potential Argo bioprocessing plant?
Madam Chair. The Quapaw Nation Argo Development Partners have concluded work on an agreement that will require them to go through a permit process with the Quapaw Nation. As stated last month, this permit process will require Argo to submit an application with plans and a narrative description of the proposed facility. The Quapaw Nation will review the application and issue a public notice to solicit comments, which will include holding a public hearing. Community members living within the Quapaw Reservation boundaries will have an opportunity to make comments, ask questions, and express concerns during that public hearing. The Quapaw Nation will develop an internal report reviewing the proposed facility's impact to the nation's resources and interests, including but not limited to natural and cultural resources, public health, water availability, utilities, and emergency response capacity in the form of an impact report. The data submitted by Argo in the application, public comments, and the impact report, along with any additional comments and responses from Argo, will be reviewed and analyzed by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. The Business Committee will make a final determination on whether to approve the permit application through a contract zoning district. and any approval will be memorialized in a resolution. Argo will agree to comply with all approval conditions provided for in the nation's contract zoning district, as well as all applicable federal, state, and local laws, regulations, and rules. The agreement between the Quapaw Nation and Argo Development Partners will be executed on the date that both parties sign the agreement. You will see the resolution for the agreement with Argo in today's agenda within the new business section. Okay.
Would you also provide an update on the vacancies on the subcommittees?
We have a vacancy within the Resident Housing Committee. We're requesting applicants from the new O-gah-pah ticketed housing to apply for the vacant position. So if you are a new resident within O-gah-pah ticketed housing or are getting ready to move in and are interested in serving on the Resident Housing Committee, please send an email to brent.devine@quapawnation.com expressing your interest.
Thank you. Last week, we were able to participate in the release of the updated Oklahoma Tribal Nations Economic Impact Study sponsored by the Oklahoma Indian Gaming Association. Would you please provide an overview of those numbers?
Certainly, Madam Chair. The Quapaw Nation participated in an economic impact study along with several other Oklahoma tribal nations in Oklahoma to determine the impact tribal nations have on the economy within the state of Oklahoma. The following data are the results of this study. During fiscal year 2023, Oklahoma tribal nations provided $7.8 billion in wages and benefits to Oklahoma workers, $23.4 billion in state production of goods and services, and 139,860 jobs in the state of Oklahoma. This report indicates the largest increase in economic activity between fiscal years to date. From fiscal year 2019 to fiscal year 2023, economic activity increased by $4.9 billion, nearly double the increase recorded between fiscal year 2017 and fiscal year 2019. The following impact sectors show the greatest impact. In the health sector, there was $528 million spent on healthcare services in Oklahoma, 3.5 million plus unique patient visits to tribal health facilities. There's a 10.8 increase in tribal health facilities from 2019 to 2023. $762 million in wages to over 9,000 workers providing tribal health services. In the education sector, tribes delivered $351 million for Oklahoma education programs in 2023, $133.6 million in tribal education programs and scholarships, $39.3 million in donations to schools and universities, $177 million in tribal exclusivity fees contributed to Oklahoma's HB 1017 Education Reform Revolving Fund. In the tribal gaming sector, there was $7.4 billion in tribal gaming and related business revenues, up 27% over 4 years. 24,900 jobs supported, with $1.2 billion paid in wages and benefits to Oklahoma workers. $208 million in exclusivity fees sent to the state, which was a 36% increase since 2019. 34% of visits come from out-of-state guests, boosting tourism. As you can see, tribal nations have a significant impact on the economy within Oklahoma State, and we should all be proud of everything all of the tribes in Oklahoma has done for the economy of Oklahoma.
Thank you. Member Davis, would you please give an update on last week's Sovereignty Symposium?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. On June 12th and 13th, 4 members of the BC attended the 37th Annual Sovereignty Symposium in Oklahoma City. Since 2023, the symposium has been hosted by the Oklahoma City University School of Law. The symposium was founded in 1988 by Oklahoma Supreme Court Justice Yvonne Cogar. The focus is tribal sovereignty and government. The setting provided an opportunity for discussion of legal and policy issues faced by tribal communities. There were several sessions held throughout the 2-day symposium which allowed attorneys an opportunity to gain CLEs. Sessions consisted of respective panelists in their fields. The Honorable Deb Haaland, former U.S. Secretary of the Interior, delivered the keynote address. As I said, there was 4 members, so we kind of divided and conquered, so everybody would have an opportunity to sit in on multiple sessions. Some of the sessions that I attended were the power of language, strengthening identity through revitalization efforts, restoring balance, indigenous approaches to health and well-being, and where it all began, the history and legacy of Native nation struggles and sovereignty. I'm thankful to have attended this symposium. It provided an opportunity to connect with other tribal and non-tribal representatives and gain a better understanding of many challenges faced in Indian country. Gunagay.
Would you also describe the Native Alliance Against Violence Conference?
Certainly. Thank you, Madam Chair. On June 11th, members of the BC presented to Downstream for the opening ceremonies of the 2-day Domestic Violence Conference. A special thank you to Vice Chair Mans McKibben, the Quapaw Nation Honor Guard, and Southern Sway Drum Group for opening the conference. Created in 2019, the Midwest Native Coalition for Justice and Peace is a nonprofit organization in Northeast Kansas. The Native Alliance Against Violence Tribal Coalition is a nonprofit organization in Oklahoma which was created in 2009. For the first time, these 2 organizations started an annual event this year to bring together advocates from Kansas and Oklahoma to share resources, educate, and empower each other to address domestic violence and sexual assault in tribal communities. This year's conference was about cultivating advocacy. Topics of discussion included the benefits of collaboration, legislative changes in both Oklahoma and Kansas, and how they impact survivors. Motivational interviewing, batterers intervention programs, missing and murdered indigenous organizations advocating through knowledge, and the importance of self-care. The 2 days were filled with information and attendees made connections that will help build knowledge and resources regarding domestic and sexual violence. I was proud of the nation's representation, both at the opening ceremonies and the employees that attended the conference. Gunagay.
Thank you so much. Earlier this week, the Quapaw Nation signed a tribal amnesty, I don't know if I said that right, but in front of the court on the Kalshi versus Mary Jo Flaherty case in the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit. So what is this case and why is it important to the Quapaw Nation? This is regarding a lower court upholding gaming-related sports event contracts that were allowed to be traded under the guise of commodity trading pursuant to the Commodity Exchange. Let me explain. Commodities are things like oil, gas, gold, wheat. Those are futures contracts that can absolutely be traded on the Commodities Exchange. The lower court held that Kalshi was able to legally trade sports event contracts on a commodities exchange, just like oil. Why does this matter to the Quapaw Nation? We believe, and the case contends, the lower court ruling is in direct violation of the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, as well as the Commodity Futures Trading Commission's own regulations. We understand that sports betting is legal in the state of Oklahoma under certain limited circumstances. However, in cooperation with other tribal nations in Oklahoma and the Oklahoma Indian Gaming Association, considerable effort has been expended to expand our sports betting capabilities in this market here in Oklahoma. Tribal nations need to expand the market to benefit our tribal members, not give it away to non-Indian entity where none of our tribal members will benefit at all. Kalshi impedes tribes' inherent sovereign right to regulate gaming activity on Indian lands. That's why we signed as a friend of the court. Regarding the Department of Government efficiency recommendations on decreasing the size of the federal government and impacts to the Quapaw Nation, there's really nothing new to report, but we do continue to actively monitor, changes, and we will be sure to communicate any further impacts. We did, however, participate in a recent Department of Interior consultation. Unfortunately, it seemed they were looking, for feedback on their organizational proposal, so it was more of a check-the-box exercise instead of a true government-to-government consultation. The Quapaw Nation will be providing formal comments regarding their recommended changes. We did announce 2 months ago the meat processing plant management agreement with Cypress Valley Meat Company will cease July 1st, 2025. The transition continues to go smoothly, and we really do appreciate all the efforts by Executive Director Trenton Stand, Agricultural Director Mitchell Albright, Plant Manager Wade Payne, and the entire Human Resources team that have brought us to a good state of readiness to resume Quapaw Nation operational management of the plant. And thank you to the entire team. Job well done. The nation held a number of events over this last month, and then we'll go into some of the current and upcoming events. The Quapaw Nation Fitness Center held aerobic, drumming, and walking strong classes every Tuesday and Thursday throughout May. The Quapaw Nation Language Department hosted the Quapaw Lunch and Learn Spring 2025 language sessions. They were free in-person classes open to all skill levels and offered an opportunity to learn Quapaw together during the lunch hour. It was very well attended. It looked like they had a lot of fun. The Indian Child Welfare Department held a book drive for new or gently used books for children 13 years and younger. And the goal there was to create a lending library for local foster families, and they succeeded really well. The book drive collected 510 books, and the ICW department is very appreciative, and they extend a big thank you to everyone who donated. This year's annual rotating event called Completing the Circle was sponsored by the Seneca Cayuga tribe on May 31st. This event is held for all tribal foster families. The Quapaw Nation's Indian Child Welfare Department participated. The Fire Department supplied a first aid station, and dancers and drummers put on an exhibition explaining different songs, dances, and regalia. The Food Sovereignty Department and the Quapaw Cattle Company held another food distribution for Quapaw tribal member head of households. This distribution consisted of 20 pounds of ground beef. The scheduled pickup dates were June 9 through 14, and they had a total of 1,090 members sign up. So 1,090, that's really remarkable. On June the 10th, Quapaw Nation CCDF program hosted its first Oklahoma Tribal Child Care Association quarterly meeting at Downstream. They had a meeting presentation followed by a director's training and ended with a tour of the nation's facilities. The youth program hosted a Shield pottery class June 10 and 11 at the Susie Moore Pottery Studio, and Betty Gadke taught the class. The class was open to 5th to 12th graders, and they created their own pottery shield while exploring Quapaw art and culture through hands-on learning. And this class was sponsored through a federal grant from the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Association, SAMHSA. On Saturday, June 14th, the Quapaw Nation's Higher Education Department hosted the graduation celebration banquet that Vice Chair McKibben described. And it was those who graduated between July 1, 2024 and June 30, 2025. And congratulations to all the graduates, and we wish all of them the best of luck. On June 19th, here just Thursday, Missouri, on Main Street, they held a You Belong in Joplin event, and the nation sponsored the event by putting on an exhibition with drummers and dancers to celebrate and share our culture. The nation has quite a few current and upcoming events, so please bear with me. Children's Miracle Network at Freeman offers assistance programs that provide direct family assistance for children and families in need who live in Ottawa County. This can include specialty equipment, the service dog program, travel assistance, and other medically necessary items. You and your families can take advantage of these programs and get the help you or your family needs today. Please visit freemanhealth.com for more information. The Child Care Development Fund Department is calling for more people to help contribute to the Regalia Closet. This program loans out regalia to children for them to dance. The goal is for children to feel what it is like to dance in regalia in hopes that it'll spark a yearning for participation and learning about our traditions and culture. Availability is based on a first-come, first-served basis. Quapaw tribal members who specialize in making Quapaw regalia for boys and girls aged from infants to 12 years old are encouraged to submit a bid to the CCDF department. Tribal member Madeline Jennings is a student at Washington State University in the archaeology program. She's created a community survey for her thesis research and as well as a pedestrian survey of a select historical site in the upcoming months. She's requesting participation for her survey, which can be found on the Quapaw Facebook page. This survey is available now until the end of September, and we encourage everybody to participate in the survey. The Nation Splash Pad is open for the summer. Operating hours are from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and it's located behind our fitness center. The Quapaw Farmers Market takes place on the first and third Fridays from now until October from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Everyone is encouraged to stop by, receive a ticket for their monthly drawings, grab a bite to eat, and shop for fresh produce and arts and crafts from local vendors. The Quapaw Tribal Nation Library is offering a new and exciting service for its members. Anyone with a Quapaw Nation Library card can access Newsbank. It's a platform that offers full text and digital access to hundreds of newspapers across the United States. It's very easy to get a library card. Just stop by the library and get signed up and learn about all the other programs the library has to offer. The Quapaw Nation Youth and CCDF programs have scheduled Camp Quapaw, and that's from June the 23rd to June the 27th, so it's coming up fast. The camp is for children grades second grade to 12th grade. Please come join the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Tribal Nations Technical Center of Expertise in a Vision to Action session on Tuesday, June 24th. There will be 2 sessions available, and both are open house formats. These sessions are designed to support the ongoing comprehensive water resources planning study for the Tar Creek and Spring Water watersheds. Please come share what you would like to see with regard to the restoration. They would like to hear from you. Indian tacos will be available during the first session from noon to 2 with a $5 suggested donation and while supplies last, and beverages will be available during the evening session from 5 to 7 p.m. On June 25th, the Quapaw Nation Mobile Integrated Health Team will be conducting a short class on techniques used to help a choking person. This class will teach old and new methods. Elders 55 and older will receive a free choker device. There's a limit of 1 per household, and the class starts at 1 p.m. at the Title VI building. Again, that's on June the 25th, so a lot of stuff coming up this week. The Quapaw Nation STEM team is having 3 fundraisers coming up. The first is a Krispy Kreme donut fundraiser, which you can pre-order starting now until Tuesday, June 24th at 7 p.m. Pre-orders and same-day orders can be picked up at the Quapaw Farmers Market on Friday, June 27th, starting at 10 a.m. while supplies last. They'll be selling donuts by the half dozen or the dozen. To pre-order, please email qnstemteam@quapawnation.com. The next fundraiser is a pet contest fundraiser starting Monday, June 23rd, and they'll accept entries until July 13th. There's a $5 pet entry fee, and it's open to all pet owners. Each pet will be entered in their own category, so dogs, cats, fish, rabbits, etc. And there will be 3 places in each category. Winners will be announced during a third fundraiser, STEM Bingo and Raffle, on Friday, August the 29th. All winners will receive a prize and be featured on social media. Additional details on these upcoming fundraisers are available on the Quapaw Post social media and the tribal website. The Quapaw Nation Courts, they are hosting a debt relief amnesty program for traffic citations and delinquent debt on June the 30th and July 1st, and that's from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Kahota Center. You'll have the chance to pay off all traffic citations and delinquent court debt with a 25% reduction to the balance. It gives the opportunity to take care of legal obligations stress-free. Community service options will also be available for those unable to pay. This initiative is designed to support our community by providing relief without penalty. Please visit the court's homepage on the Quapaw Nation's website for more information. Quapaw Nation is soliciting bids for the salvage sale of materials of the collapsed pavilion located at 906 Whitebird Street in Quapaw. Bids must be made for the entirety of the structure. Bids for specific parts or materials will not be considered. In-person viewings by appointment only. Bids must be submitted no later than 5 p.m. on June the 30th, 2025. Full details can be found on the Quapaw Nation's website. General Council is, of course, July the 4th. The meeting will be called to order at 9 a.m. in the downstream pavilion. Enrolled tribal members 18 and above and certain non-tribal members can attend. Non-tribal members can attend only if they're Quapaw blood voters. They have assigned specific duties for the General Council, such as the registration team and communication team. Or 3, their presence is necessary to provide mobility and wellness assistance to tribal members. They can only have 1 assistant. Breakfast and registration begins at 8 a.m. For those who would like, Cedar Smoke will be available at approximately 7 a.m. on the patio through the glass doors next to the pavilion. Lunch is at 11:30. And for those of you who have children, the child care pre-registration form has been released. Please contact or please complete the form by today, June 21st. Additional and special valet services will be available. Elders 65 and above and those with mobility challenges can utilize valet behind the downstream pavilion near the entrance past the employee parking area and the tiered parking. So that's down past the employee parking and the tiered parking area, and there will be valet service available the day of General Council for elders 65 and above and those with mobility challenges. A draft of the proposed Quapaw Nation Constitution is available online and has been shipped to all Quapaw tribal member head of households. The next step is for Quapaw Nation tribal members to review this draft Constitution and bring your questions and perspectives to the July 4th General Council meeting this year. Additional details can be found online, and I'm sure we'll get a good update from the Constitution Committee this morning. The next edition of the Quapaw Post will start hitting mailboxes late next week. It will also be uploaded online for digital distribution on Monday, June the 23rd. The General Council Resource Book will also be made available online with survey information for feedback on it. We want to know if the General Council Resource Book contains the type of information tribal members are really seeking. We encourage you all to provide feedback. The dates for this year's 153rd Annual Quapaw Powwow are July 3rd through 6th, with the 3rd being the All Quapaw Group Photo, Quapaw Group Photo, July the 3rd, 5:45 p.m., followed by Quapaw Night. Then the 4th through the 6th will be the contests and intertribal dancing, and the 5th will be the night for the fireworks. Please refer to the flyer for additional information. Camp registration is set for June the 30th to July 3rd from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then on July 4th from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Rations will be handed out on July 5th starting at 9 a.m. here in the community building. The annual health fair will be on July 2nd from, that starts at 8 a.m. and goes until noon at the Quapaw Nation Fitness Center. The health fair will be open to elders only from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then open to everyone else from 9 a.m. to noon. Looking forward to it. The youth program is hosting a cultural class on how to make a traditional Indian football. The class will be taught by Christina and Rachel Sharp on July the 3rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Old Longhouse. This class is sponsored through a federal grant from SAMHSA and is already at full capacity. So there's a lot of interest. On July the 3rd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., CCDF is sponsoring a creation station, which is free for everyone. It'll be held at the Native American Church Summer House. They'll have snow cones, face painting, and crafts. Also on July 3rd, O-Guah-Pah Communications is starting a new project called Elders Circle of Remembrance, honoring our voices, sharing our stories. They'll be recording at the Old Longhouse from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., and all elders are encouraged to join in the discussion. Save the date for the 14th Annual O-gah-pah Language Conference on July 23rd and 24th at the Downstream Casino and Resort. The event gathers Osage Ponca, Northern Ponca, Quapaw, and Omaha communities to support the preservation and revitalization of Uga'xpa languages. They encourage registrants to be individually motivated and or affiliated with a tribal language program and language teachers that seek to preserve and revitalize the language. The application has been placed on the Quapaw Nation's website for those who would like to participate. It costs $60 per person and $10 a day per child under 14, t-shirt included. The deadline to register is July 15th. After that, there's on-site registration, but t-shirts at that point are not guaranteed. Non-participating guests who only want meals, the cost for that is $25. Quapaw Nation Youth Program is hosting another Youth Gathering of Native Americans program. That's GONA. The event will be held at the Quapaw Nation Fitness Center from July 28th to 31st from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. This event is open to everyone, youth, local, tribal leaders, everyone. This class is sponsored through a federal grant from SAMHSA and VSSA. For more information, please contact Kristen Keys. The Education Department is continuing its classes and is hosting another scholarship workshop on August the 6th and 20th, starting at 6:30 p.m. in the community building. This event is available in person and on Microsoft Teams. It's free and open to everyone. To register, please email education.department@quapawnation.com. The Cancer Awareness Committee is holding a Cancer Awareness Golf Scramble on Sunday, September the 14th at Eagle Creek Golf Club. The cost is $300 per team, and the deadline to enter is August the 14th. The committee is also accepting donations for the golf scramble and silent auction. For more information, please contact Jackie Stone at jackie.stone@quapawnation.com. If you want to stay up to date with all the events happening in the nation, you can visit O-Guah-Pah-communications.com website and click on Notify Me to sign up for text, email, or phone call alerts. All right, on to the casino financial results. For Quapaw Casino, these are their April 2025 results. April was an excellent month for Quapaw Casino from an earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization standpoint. For the month ended April 30th, EBITDA totaled $442,000 with a margin of 21.8%. In the casino industry, a healthy EBITDA margin is around 20 to 40%, so Quapaw Casino did an excellent job of meeting this expectation. April's results exceeded budget by $70,000 and represents a decrease of $124,000 from April of last year. This month was a great start to the third quarter. The main contributing factor to this positive month was expense control. So that was a real positive in it. Net income for the month totaled $414,000 with a margin of 20.4%. And the net income margin for that particular category in the casino industry is between 15 and 25%. So again, Quapaw Casino did an excellent job of meeting this expectation. April 2025, Quapaw Casino received their second pay application from Flintco, the general contractor. So that was for the new casino build. They were paid $1.6 million on Friday, May 16th, and currently holding payment on one material supplied vendor due to not being approved by QNGA just quite yet. It may have been since the writing of that report. On to downstream. We're going to report both April as well as May. The April results were not available in time for our meeting last month. April was an exceptional month for downstream. For the month of April 30th, EBITDA totaled $8.1 million with a margin of 46.3%. So remember I said that an EBITDA margin of 20 to 40 was really good? Well, downstream beat that. April results also exceeded budget expectations by $0.7 million and were $0.7 more than April of the previous year. We're currently sitting in fiscal year 2025. EBITDA year-to-date is sitting at $55.2 million, which is 100.3% of the first 7 months of the fiscal year 2025 budget. These are extraordinary results after January's huge deficit. May was not only an exceptional month, but from a revenue, EBITDA, and net income standpoint, the best month of fiscal year 2025. For the month ended May 31st, EBITDA totaled $9.7 million with a margin of 48.6%. Remember I said 20 to 40, and they're sitting at 48.6. It's awesome. So not only is the revenue well above par, but expense control is as well. May results exceeded budget expectations by $1.8 million, and were 1.8 million more than the prior year. Net income for the month totaled 8.3 million with a margin of 41.8. So that's a really good result. Our next quarterly mandatory payment, this is repaying the debt on the downstream casino, is that's scheduled 6.5 million. Will be due on June the 30th. However, as stated previously, we're continuing down the path of paying 7.5 million quarterly. So once we make this next June 30th payment, the outstanding loan balance will be 107 million. Considering we started at 300 million, that is remarkable progress. The loan balance is going to be below 100 million before we know it. That is just wonderful. On to Saracen. So Saracen net gaming revenue in May finished as the best month ever. The impressive performance beat budget by 16.8% and prior year by 24.1%. Number one revenue source is slots, and they continue to experience increases when compared to prior year. Slot handle beat prior year by 23%, and net revenue was up over prior year by 21.5%. Performance against budget resulted in slot net revenue ahead of expectation by 14.8%. Sportsbook volumes continue to outpace prior year, and sportsbook win finished up over prior year by 34.3% and beat budget by 25.8%. Seems like we need to increase the bogeys there. Considerable progress has been made on the development of the hotel and event center. From a budget perspective, the development is about 55.5% complete, with a majority, 80%, of the construction funding was derived from cash flow from operations. Utilization of the revolving line of credit to supplement cash flow has started with every effort to minimize the number and amounts of draws. Updates on when the facility will open to the public will be forthcoming. We are getting caught in a little bit of the supply chain issues that are happening right now. So, we're keeping tabs on some of the items that are expected to be utilized as a part of the build-out very, very carefully. The Saracen MBA program for Quapaw Nation citizens has been approved and is in the process of reviewing applications. The goal is to select the inaugural participant in the coming week, so it's right around the corner, and definitely in time for the start of the fall 2025 semester. That concludes the Business Committee report. Thank you for your patience. All right, we'll go on to the subcommittee reports. O-gah-pah Wisdom Keepers. Grace?
Good day. I'm very sorry I was not able to attend the graduation banquet. I heard it was wonderful. But our wisdom keepers, the elders, we too want to congratulate all of the graduates for the accomplishments that they did. And we thank the families and the friends who also helped make this possible. So we are proud of them and we wish them good years to come. Upcoming, Camp Quapaw. We will be at Camp Quapaw. And we will be meeting with the young people. And as in the past, we will be telling stories, but we will also be sharing some of the O-gah-pah ways with them. And also then on July the 3rd, we are having more recordings of our elders. We will have many people coming in for powwow. And so we're wanting to get together with them. And again, it's telling stories. There's a lot to our history and to the way we live. And so those are coming up. Also, as Chairman Wayne had maybe will be mentioning, AARP Oklahoma, the American Indian Elders Honors, Sandy Bear will be honored.
Thank you, Grace. Cultural Committee. Oh, Everett.
Cultural Committee Chair, the Cultural Committee Chair, Barbara Collier, was not able to make it today, and she asked me to provide a report in her absence. As she has mentioned, we've been working on a music project for some time. It's not on, is it? I'll repeat it for those that are on Zoom. The Cultural Committee Chair, Barbara Collier, was not able to make it today, and she asked me to deliver a report in her absence.
As she has described previously, we've been working on a music project, researching the music that we could find. And we also, she'd previously described that we met with Wilma Jo Shawnee, who is the, I believe, last living child of Bill Shawnee. And she indicated her support in using a recording of her father singing some Quapaw songs for the Quapaw Nation phone system. So now if you call the Quapaw Nation while you're being transferred, you will hear Bill Shawnee singing Quapaw songs. That was completed, and then also Downstream Casino has met with the committee a few times to discuss the reinstallation of an exhibit. They have moved an exhibit that was done by Alicia that has Quapaw clothing, a buckskin dress, a Quapaw dress, straight dance outfit, and it's now in the lobby, and it's essentially done. If you walk by, it pretty much looks like it's done. But it has good UV quality, UV resistant glass, and there's a sign that may have already been installed there. The Cultural Committee has also been working on trying to arrange a photo shoot during powwow for elders that would use a crescent moon that is inspired by a number of photos that were taken in the early 1900s that featured a crescent moon in their background. Tribal members used to, sometimes people would come through the area and offer to take their photo for $1 or whatever. And there was a number of families that have pictures that are done with this background. And so they wanted to recreate that to be able to photograph our elders of today. We're still in the arrangement process, but we're hoping that'll get figured out. And then we also were visited by the Constitution Committee, and were asked to review, I think, 3 clauses from the Constitution, which we provided feedback on. And we discussed participation in the Degaha Language Conference, with which Chair Supernaw mentioned previously. I'd encourage anyone who's able to attend. And then our big discussion from this last month was planning for the fall gathering. We are discussing a fall gathering that would be held hopefully outside if the power grounds are available, and it would be the committee members wanted to have an old time powwow that featured a starting song and no long dance contests, and would have an all Quapaw head staff, and would take place on September 6th. And so that's nearly organized. The business committees agreed with our plan, and we hope to have a flyer out before Quapaw powwow for everyone to be aware of the details. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Everett. Roman Cahiga, Constitution Committee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do I need to swap this? No? Okay. Yeah, so as everybody's probably experienced, the draft constitution has been mailed out to every household. Do you have a question for the business committee, which I'll email just to give it a quick question right now? What the Constitution Committee has been charged with was presenting a draft to General Counsel, and we just need clarity whether that mail out constitutes that submission to General Counsel, or if we're supposed to have another packet printed out for General Counsel at General Counsel. So I'll send that as
Okay.
we need clarity on that. But that being said, after July 4th, the Constitution Committee believes that we have discharged the duty we've been assigned to do and requested to do. And that being said, we are going to provide some recommendations to General Counsel that there is still work to be done. And we are also waiting for feedback from a potential relationship that has been in the works for a while. And if we don't hear anything on that, then we're moving forward as planned. But with that being said, we are trying to organize a listening session, question and answer period prior to General Counsel, hopefully July 2nd or July 3rd, so that we could have just availability and access for people who want to come in. So we'll get that finalized on Monday. Other than that, that's it. Yeah.
Thank you, Roman. Appreciate it. All right, Election Committee, Frank Frazier.
Good morning, everybody. I think I'm suffering from what a lot of people are suffering from now. I'm getting the summer cold, or the allergies are driving me crazy. Just wanted to announce that we do have the absentee ballot packets available. We created some of the last meeting we had. We made up 300. So if for some reason anybody, local, whatever, you can come to the tribal office and talk to Carrie Sisson or Chayton Ellick, get your absentee packet. You can fill it out, drop it in the box. We got the ballot box sitting in the main hallway over there. We look forward to General Council, and we look forward to this election. It will be July the 26th, right here in this building as always. And I think I'm done, short and sweet. I don't really feel too good today.
We're with you, Frank. Thank you. Are there any other subcommittees that would like to speak this morning? All righty. Let's go on to the executive director reports. Oh, we do have another subcommittee?
Oh, never mind, it's just Eric.
All right. The executive director reports are targeted for the business committee. If others in attendance this morning have questions regarding those reports, please pose your questions during open forum. The executive director reports, they are up on the website earlier this week. Eric Boone, CFO, do you have anything to report beyond your posted report?
I have nothing to add, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Quapaw Facilities Authority, Jerry Helms.
I have nothing to add, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Tribal Member Services, Steve Stand. Thank you. Department of Public Safety.
I have nothing to add, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Culture, Executive Band, Everett Bandy. Executive Bandy.
I like that. I have nothing beyond my online report, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Everett. And then O-gah-pah Communications and Events. Thank you, Austin. Oh, Natural Resource Management, sorry.
I have nothing to add, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, let's go on to the phone polls. That's item 9 on your agenda. Member Mercer, would you please take the first one?
Yes, Madam Chair. This is phone poll number 43537. The poll name was Intertribal Buffalo Council Herd Development Grant for fiscal year 2024. This poll was created to authorize the execution of the grant agreement. It was sent to a poll because the grant was due on May 15th of 2025. The approval count was 7-4, and it was certified on 5/16/2025, 8:01 a.m.
Thank you. Member Buffalo, would you please take the next one?
Yes, Madam Chair. It's poll number 43542, authorizing engagement with law firm. The poll is for approving the resolution for the Quapaw Nation Gaming Agency and Quapaw Nation Gaming Commission to engage with a law firm. This was sent to a poll due to the sense of urgency of the matter. This poll was approved 4 in favor, 3 rejected, and certified on 5/21/25 at 9:17 a.m.
Thank you. Vice Chair McKibben, would you please take the next one?
Yes, ma'am. Poll number 43766 is a Tribal Solar Accelerator Fund grant application. This is for the O-gah-pah Learning Center, which is the nation's 3rd largest energy consuming facility, and the Quapaw Nation wishes to install solar generation capabilities to alleviate utility expenses and support emission reduction. This was approved 7-0 and was certified on 5/27/25.
Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please take the next one?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is poll number 44022, Tribal Indigenous Advisory Council nomination. This is a poll to approve the nomination of Chair Weena Supernaw to the Government Accountability Office's Tribal and Indigenous Advisory Council. This was sent to a poll because the deadline is June 6th, 2025. There was an approval count of 6, an abstention of 1, and it was certified on June 4th, 2025.
Thank you. I'll take the next three. Poll number 44030, John L. Berry candidacy appeal number 1. On June the 3rd, 2025 at 7:12 p.m., the Quapaw Nation Business Committee received a candidacy appeal. Per Section 8.9 of the election ordinance, the Business Committee shall render a determination of challenge within 36 hours of the appeal. The determination of the Business Committee shall be final and not be appealable to any court or tribunal. The attached phone poll provides evidence of individual Business Committee votes on the following motion by Chair Weena Supernaw at 3:22 p.m. on June the 4th, and second by Member Lloyd Buffalo. Those in favor of accepting the first appeal on June the 3rd, 2025 at 7:12 p.m. to overturn the determination of the Election Committee by declaring John L. Berry unsuitable for candidacy to the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. The decision summary is 4 approved, 3 abstained. The motion was approved and it was certified on June the 5th. On to the next one. Poll number 44032, John L. Berry candidacy appeal number 2. On June the 4th at 11:46 a.m., the Quapaw Nation Business Committee received a candidacy appeal. Per Section 8.9 of the election ordinance, the Business Committee shall render a determination of challenge within 36 hours of the appeal. The determination of the Business Committee shall be final and not be appealable to any court or tribunal. The attached phone poll provides evidence of individual Business Committee votes on the following motion by Chair Weena Supernaw at 3:25 p.m. on June the 4th, and second by Secretary Treasurer Valier. Those in favor of accepting the second appeal received on June 4th at 11:46 a.m. to overturn the determination of the Election Committee by declaring John L. Berry unsuitable for candidacy to Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Decision summary: approval 4, abstain 3. The motion was approved and certified on June the 5th at 6:03 a.m. On to the third one. Poll number 44037, John L. Berry candidacy appeal number 3. On June the 4th, 2025 at 5:48 p.m., the Quapaw Nation Business Committee received a candidacy appeal. Per Section 8.9 of the election ordinance, the Business Committee shall render a determination of challenge within 36 hours of the appeal. The determination of the Business Committee shall be final and not appealable to any court or tribunal. The attached phone poll provides evidence of individual Business Committee votes on the following motion by Chair Weena Supernaw at 11:53 a.m. on June the 5th, and second by Vice Chair Mans McKibben. Those in favor of accepting the third appeal received on June the 4th at 5:48 p.m. to overturn the determination of the Election Committee by declaring John L. Berry unsuitable for candidacy to the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. The decision summary is approval 3, abstain 4. The motion was approved and certified on June the 5th, 2025 at 6:40 p.m. Member Davis, would you please take the next one?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Poll number 44065 is a poll to approval of Quapaw Nation Mentorship Program. This poll is to approve a Quapaw Nation membership/job shadowing program through Quapaw Nation's Higher Education Department. This was sent to a poll to expedite this because we had several students who are waiting, and we would like to get them going considering they have limited time before school starts. There was an approval count of 7, and it was certified June 16th.
Thank you. Member Gibbs-Water, would you please take the next one?
Yes, ma'am. Poll number 44079, approval of housing policy revisions. This poll is for approving the revisions of the policies, procedures, and the lease for the Quapaw Nation O-Guah-Pah Tikada Property Housing Addition and fee rental properties. This was sent to a poll to expedite this because people are going to move in and we need this completed. There's an approval count of 6, 1 abstention, and it was certified 6/17/2025 at 11:21 a.m.
Thank you. Member Mercer, would you please take the last emergency poll? Larry, can you use your microphone?
44091. Sorry about that. This polls for approval to sign on and as amnesty curiae, and the poll is approving us to sign for a United States Appeal Court case, which Madam Chair spoke on earlier. Kalisha versus Mary Jo Flattery, and this was sent to a poll because it had to be sent to them by the morning of June 16th. The approval count was 7-0. It was certified on 6/16/2025 at 9:56 a.m.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the polls as read.
We have a motion before us to approve the electronic polls as read. Business Committee, is there any further discussion?
Madam Chair, the only thing, if people were following on the agenda, poll number on the third appeal for John Berry was listed on the agenda as 44032. Madam Chair correctly read it as 44037. I just wanted to make that clarification for people.
Thank you. Do appreciate that. In addition, there is a memo that was included with the electronic polls already uploaded to the tribal website that provides the reasoning the Business Committee went through to make those determinations. Any further discussion, Business Committee? All right. All those in favor of approving the electronic polls as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The motion carries and the electronic polls are approved. All right, now we're going on to new business. We've got quite a few. Member Buffalo, would you please take A?
Yes, Madam Chair. Resolution number 062125-A, a resolution amending the Quapaw Nation Sex Offender Restoration Code. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee finds it is in the best interest of the Quapaw Nation to enact the proposed Quapaw Nation Sex Offender Restoration Code, and whereas the Business Committee desires to enact the Quapaw Nation Sex Offender Registration Code effective on the date of this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved the Business Committee of the Nation that the proposed Quapaw Nation Sex Offender Restoration Code is hereby enacted. Madam Chair, I move to approve this resolution.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-A. Business Committee, is there any further discussion?
Yes, I just had a question. I know we got to read this last fall and it was presented to us and then it kind of got placed on the back burner and then it got re-presented and we kind of all had some time to weigh in and give some input if we wanted to. I have not gotten a chance to compare it to the prior versions of this. I just wondered what the new additions or the additional information that we included in this from the previous one. Does anybody have that right offhand?
So not line by line, but I know that when we went through the review, I think it was maybe a week and a half ago, that the nature of the changes were really relatively minor refinements. But they did comprehensively go through all of the federal law and other statutes to ensure that we are complying the way we should based on those guidelines and recommendations. So I think the changes were described as refinements.
Basically in compliance with what federal and state and local.
And we were previously as well, so much so that we actually had to recertify our compliance with those federal codes. I want to say it was right at about a week ago. Business Committee, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-A, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. Motion carries and resolution.
I'll abstain on that.
You abstain. Did you get that, Brent? We've got one abstain. The motion carries. Resolution 062125-A is approved. Vice Chair McKibben, would you please take B?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 062125B to approve the application process for review of a proposed bioprocessing facility within the exterior boundaries of Quapaw Reservation. Whereas the LLC is a non-Indian entity wishing to propose and develop a bioprocessing facility on non-Indian fee land within Quapaw Reservation, whereas the nation has an interest to review the potential health and safety impacts from the construction operation of the facility, whereas the nation has inherent sovereign authority to exercise police powers, including but not limited to zoning ordinances to regulate land use development, as well as the intensity of those uses, whereas is willing to voluntarily consent to the nation's jurisdiction and submit a contract zone application for the nation's review. Whereas the nation has prepared and reviewed a framework agreement, hereto as Attachment 1 framework agreement establishing a review process through which this will submit a contract zone application and the nation will review said application and conduct a public hearing. Whereas the Business Committee, after consulting with legal counsel who has advised them on the terms set forth in the agreement, believes that it is in the best interest of the nation to approve the agreement. Therefore, be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee hereby approves the agreement and authorizes the chair to execute the agreement. Make a motion to adopt resolution number 062125B.
Second.
Business Committee, is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to the vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-B, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The motion carries. Resolution 062125B is approved. I'll go ahead and take the next one. It's resolution number 062125-C. It's a resolution authorizing the appointment of judges A. Diane Hammonds, Andrew Casey, and Gary Pitchlin. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee's authority and obligations with respect to the nation's business includes appointing and confirming the officers of the nation's courts and justice systems. Therefore, be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee hereby appoints A. Diane Hammonds, Andrew Casey, and Gary Pitchlin as judges in the nation's courts to start their terms of office upon taking their oaths of office. Be it further resolved that the appointment of A. Diane Hammonds, Andrew Casey, and Gary Pitchlin as judges in the nation's courts will be subject to the terms and conditions of the appointment contract between the nation and the respective judge. Be it further resolved that upon taking office, Judge Hammonds, Casey, and Pitchlin are hereby empowered to issue judgments, perform the duties of their offices, and otherwise conduct the business of the nation's courts. I move to approve Resolution 062125-C. We've got a second. We've got a motion on the floor. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of approving 062125-C, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no.
Abstain.
We've got one abstention. 062125-C is approved. Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please take D?
Madam Chair. Resolution 062125D, a resolution for approving the submission of the Child Care Development Block Grant application for funding under the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families, Child Care Development Fund. Whereas there is a critical need to develop and provide child care for Native American families in the area, and whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee chairperson or designee is authorized to review the plan amendments and approve, sign, and submit narrative reports and fiscal management instruments, and therefore be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee supports and approves the submission of the Child Care Development Block Grant application for fiscal year 2026 to 2028. Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the resolution number 062125-D.
Second.
We've got a motion to approve 062125-D. Business Committee, is there any additional discussion? All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-D, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The motion carries, and 062125-D is approved. Member Davis, would you please take the next two?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution number 062125-E is a resolution to contract with the accounting firm for the fiscal year 2024-2025 financial audit. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee is entrusted and obligated to transact the nation's business, including but not limited to the Quapaw Nation economic development, the establishment of Quapaw Nation enterprises, enacting resolutions, laws, and policies for the best interest of the Quapaw Nation. And whereas the Quapaw Nation has a yearly third-party audit of the nation's financial statements and federal award programs. The audit provides reasonable assurance that the nation's federal awards and financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement. Auditing services under the contract include, but are not limited to, audit of the financial statements, program compliance, and management's responsibilities. Therefore, be it resolved that the contract with the accounting firm for the fiscal year 2024-2025 financial audit is approved by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Madam Chair, I so move to adopt resolution number 062125-E.
Got a motion on the floor to approve 062125-E. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving resolution 062125-E, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Motion carries. 062125-E is approved.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to resolution number 062125-F. This is a resolution authorizing approval of the Area Economic Development Service proposal. Whereas the Quapaw Nation would like to approve the proposal with the Area Economic Development Service, and whereas the Area Economic Development Service will provide economic development service on behalf of the Quapaw Nation New Enterprise Development Committee. Therefore, be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee approves and authorizes Chair Weena Supernaw to sign the proposal with the Area Economic Development Service. Madam Chair, I would so move to adopt resolution number 062125-F.
Got a motion on the floor to approve resolution 062125-F. Business Committee, is there any additional discussion? All those in favor of approving resolution 062125-F, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. We've got one abstention. Lloyd. Oh, sorry. Member Buffalo. Okay. The motion carries, and resolution 062125-F, as in Frank, is approved. Member Gibbs Water, would you take G and H?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 062125-G. A resolution to approve the programmatic agreement among the Natural Resources Conservation Service, Arkansas State Office, the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation, the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program, the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, and the Quapaw Nation regarding Public Law 83-566 watershed protection and flood prevention projects in Arkansas. Whereas under this program, NRCS Arkansas provides financial assistance, development watershed plans to identify and implement flood control and prevention measures that may include the construction, rehabilitation, and/or maintenance of new and existing infrastructure to facilitate flood control and prevention efforts. And whereas NRCS has identified that a programmatic agreement for phasing and consultation in accordance with 36 CFR 800.14 is necessary, and consulted with tribal nations to develop an agreement, and the Quapaw Nation Business Committee desires to approve such agreement effective immediately upon its execution by the last party to sign, in the interest of protecting the nation's valuable and irreplaceable cultural and historical information and resources. And therefore, be it finally resolved that the programmatic agreement among the Natural Resources Conservation Service, Arkansas State Office, the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation, the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program, the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, and the Quapaw Nation regarding Public Law 83-566 watershed protection and flood prevention projects in Arkansas is hereby approved, and further that the chair is hereby authorized to execute and deliver such agreement on behalf of the nation. The Business Committee also moved to approve resolution number 062125-G.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-G. Business Committee, is there any additional discretion on this programmatic agreement? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-G, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The motion carries. Resolution 062125-G is approved.
Moving to resolution number 062127-H, a resolution to establish a geofence for tornado warnings covering the Quapaw Nation and surrounding areas. Whereas the Quapaw Nation recognizes the importance of safeguarding the health, welfare, and safety of its citizens, employees, and residents through proactive emergency preparedness and response measures. And whereas the Quapaw Nation Emergency Management Department has recommended the implementation of a geofence system to automatically activate outdoor warning sirens during National Weather Service issued tornado warnings. And this geofence shall encompass all lands within the current jurisdictional boundaries of the Quapaw Nation and shall extend an additional 10 miles to the south and west and 1 mile to the north and east to ensure timely warnings for incoming tornadic storms that may impact the nation. And whereas the implementation of a geofence will enhance early warning capabilities, provide critical lead time for residents to take proactive actions, and ensure more precise activation of tornado sirens based on real-time weather alerts. And whereas the Tribal Emergency Planning Committee has reviewed and approved the proposed geofence policy and recommendations, its adoption by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Therefore, be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee hereby authorizes the establishment and use of a geofence for tornado warning purposes as described above. Therefore, be it further resolved that the Quapaw Nation Emergency Management Department is hereby authorized to coordinate with the National Weather Service and relevant technical service providers to implement, maintain, and modify the geofence as necessary to best serve public safety interests. Therefore, be it finally resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption. Business Committee also moved to approve resolution number 06212. There needs to be a correction on this resolution number. It reads 062127.
So you can make the motion based on the corrected resolution ID.
Yeah, it should be 062125-H. I so move to approve.
Second.
Yeah.
Business Committee, is there any further discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-H, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Resolution 062125-H is approved. Member Buffalo, would you take the next two?
Yes, Madam Chair. Resolution number 062125I. Approval of authority for Saracen Development LLC to utilize the revolving line of credit for construction purposes from the revolver during the fiscal quarter ending September 30, 2025. Whereas Saracen Development LLC, an Arkansas limited liability company, Saracen is a wholly owned subsidiary of the authority formed to develop, own, operate, and manage the Saracen Casino Resort, which is a commercial gaming casino and resort located in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And whereas the charter of the Downstream Development Authority of the Quapaw Nation, O-gah-pah, reserves certain decisions to the Business Committee, including actions incidental to the authority's ownership in borrower. And whereas the Business Committee is expressly authorized to exercise its power to, on behalf of and in the best interest of the nation and the authority, and to authorize Saracen to enter into binding agreements relating to the Saracen Resort. And whereas the authority passed resolution number 122722-A for signing authority for purchases and contracts, which includes a signing authority matrix, signature approval for draws against existing lines of credit per quarter. Whereas Saracen requests authority and approval to utilize proceeds from the revolving line of credit for construction purposes from the revolver during the fiscal quarter ending September 30th, 2025, as requested by the attached correspondence dated June 3rd, 2025, from Saracen to the Quapaw Nation Business Committee and the authority. And whereas the Business Committee, in its capacity as governing body, the sole owner of the authority, as a sole member of the Saracen, has determined that authorizing and approving such draws from revolving line of credit is in the best interest of the nation and authority and thereof for Saracen. Now therefore be it resolved that Saracen is authorized to utilize proceeds from the revolving line of credit for construction purpose from the revolver during the fiscal quarter ending September 30th, 2025. Further resolved that all action and performance by Saracens for draws on the revolving line of credit above and up to the amounts provided herein be and each hereby is approved, authorized, and confirmed. Further resolved that Matt Harkness, General Manager, or Jim Burns, Chief Financial Officer, is authorized and approved to execute draws as provided for the resolution. Now, further resolved that any authorized person may certify to such financial institution for the revolving line of credit a copy of this resolution and the specimen signature of each authorized person, and the financial institution for the revolving line of credit may consider the authorized person to continue in office. This office is, in this resolution, to remain in full force and effect until written notice to the contrary. Madam Chair, I move to adopt this resolution.
We have a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-I. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? All those in favor of approving 062125-I, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The motion carries. Resolution 062125-I is approved. Sorry, Lloyd, that we must have given you the longest one.
Number 062125-J, a resolution authorizing the submission of the Office on Violence Against Women Rural Domestic Violence Program grant application. Whereas the Rural Domestic Violence, Dating Violence, Sexual Assault, and Stalking Program, rural program, enhances the safety of rural victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking by supporting projects uniquely designed to address and prevent these crimes in rural areas. The Quapaw Nation intends to apply for a rural program grant to continue current program activities. All internal required project partners will participate in and cooperate with the planning, development, implementation, and exercise of those activities. The tribe also authorizes tribal officials to enter into a signed and required Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, to implement the project. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee wishes to authorize Weena Supernaw, Chair of the Quapaw Nation Business Committee, to sign and execute the application. Therefore be it resolved, the Quapaw Nation Business Committee authorizes Chair Weena Supernaw to sign and execute the OVW Rural Program Grant application. I move to adopt resolution number 062125-J.
Second.
We got a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-J. Business Committee, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-J, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The motion carries. Resolution 062125-J is approved. Member Mercer, would you take the next two?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. This is resolution number 062125K. It is a resolution authorizing the submission of the Office on Violence Against Women Special Tribunal Criminal Jurisdiction Grant application. Whereas the Special Tribal Criminal Jurisdiction, STCJ, grant program supports tribal governments in exercising STCJ over non-Indians who commit covered crimes within the tribe's jurisdictional boundaries. Covered crimes are assault of the tribal justice personnel, child violence, dating violence, domestic violence, obstruction of justice, sexual violence, sexual trafficking, stalking, and a violation of a protection order. The Quapaw Nation intends to apply for a STCJ grant and certifies that A, the applicant is a federally recognized tribe appearing in the most recently published list of Indian entities recognized and eligible to receive services from the United States Bureau of Indian Affairs. The tribe has jurisdiction over the lands that meet the definition of Indian country or occupies a village. A governing body of the tribe intends to plan, develop, implement, and exercise STCJ within its jurisdiction, and all internal required project partners will participate in and cooperate with the planning, development, implementation, and exercise of STCJ, and the tribe will authorize tribal agencies or officials to enter into, sign a memorandum of understanding, internal memorandum of understanding, to implement the project. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee wishes to authorize Weena Supernaw, Chair of the Quapaw Nation Business Committee, to sign and execute this application, therefore be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee authorizes Chair Weena Supernaw to sign and execute the OVW Special Tribal Criminal Jurisdiction Grant application. Madam Chair, I recommend that we adopt resolution number 062125K.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor to approve 062125-K. Business Committee, is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving resolution 062125-K, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion carries. Resolution 062125-K is approved.
Moving on to resolution number 062125L. This is a resolution to approve an employee engagement survey. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Human Resource Department is requesting an employee engagement survey to identify strengths, weaknesses, gaps, and to provide an avenue for confidentially voicing concerns for all employees. The survey will be created, distributed, and analyzed by a third-party company that specializes in such matters. Having conducted due diligence in accordance with current policy and ensuring sufficient unencumbered funds exist, and therefore be it resolved that the employee engagement survey is approved by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Madam Chair, I move that we adopt resolution number 062125L.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor to approve 062125-L. Business Committee, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of approving resolution 062125-L, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The resolution 062125-L is approved. Vice Chair McKibben, would you take the next two?
Resolution number 062125-M, a resolution to authorize a water line right-of-way request on an existing water line for Rural Water District number 4 and to authorize the execution of the right-of-way on behalf of Quapaw Nation. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee supports and requests the right-of-way for Rural Water District number 4 located within South 94, further described in Exhibit A. Furthermore, the nation agrees that monetary compensation shall be waived due to the beneficial nature of the right-of-way. The nation further agrees that the right-of-way term is 20 years, providing the right-of-way or another appropriate document acknowledges that Rural Water District 4 does not have the authority to grant easements within the below described right-of-way without the approval of Quapaw Nation. Therefore, be it resolved pursuant to CFR 169.110A2, the Quapaw Nation requests to waive valuation as the right-of-way provides a crucial service to the Quapaw Nation and the inherent benefit of the right-of-way meets the fair market value for a water right-of-way easement in this area. Quapaw Nation agrees that a waiver of valuation is in its best interest for this right-of-way. Therefore, be it resolved at the Quapaw Nation Business Committee that the tribal chairperson, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, or an authorized representative of the Quapaw Nation is hereby authorized to execute said right-of-way and to promote tribal self-determination and such other uses as may be determined, including commercial operations acceptable to the grantee. Therefore, be it further resolved by reasons stated above that Quapaw Nation requests that the superintendent of the Miami agency grant the proposed right-of-way easement with Rural Water District Number 4. Madam Chair, I so move to adopt resolution number 062125-M.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-M. Business Committee, any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-M, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The motion carries. Resolution 062125-M is approved.
Resolution number 062125-N, a resolution to authorize a water line right-of-way request on an existing water line for Rural Water District 4 and to authorize the execution of the right-of-way on behalf of the Quapaw Nation. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee supports and requests the right-of-way for Rural Water District Number 4 located within allotment South 1, further described in Exhibit A. Furthermore, the nation agrees that monetary compensation shall be waived due to the beneficial nature of the right-of-way. The nation further agrees that the right-of-way term is 20 years, providing the right-of-way or another appropriate document acknowledges that Rural Water District Number 4 does not have authority to grant easements within the below-described right-of-way without the approval of the Quapaw Nation. Therefore, be it resolved pursuant to CFR 169.110A2, the Quapaw Nation requests to waive valuation as the right-of-way provides a crucial service to the Quapaw Nation and the inherent benefit the right-of-way meets the fair market value for the water right-of-way easement in this area. The Quapaw Nation agrees that a waiver of valuation is in its best interest for this right-of-way. Therefore, be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee that the tribal chairperson, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, or an authorized representative of Quapaw Nation is hereby authorized to execute said right-of-way and to promote tribal self-determination and such other uses as may be determined, including commercial operations acceptable to the grantee. Therefore, be it further resolved by reasons stated above, Quapaw Nation requests that the superintendent of the Miami agency grant the proposed right-of-way easement within Rural Water District Number 4. Madam Chair, I move to adopt resolution number 062125-N.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-N. Business Committee, any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-N, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion carries. Resolution 062125-N is approved. I'll go ahead and take the next one. It's Resolution 062125-O, a resolution to authorize the sale of the Quapaw Nation's restricted interest in Chat located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation. Whereas the Quapaw Nation's Business Committee supports the sale of the nation's interest in restricted Chat pile, total tonnage to be purchased 5,000. The nation further agrees to grant access to the site to EPA and its contractors to remove said interest in Chat, and further understands that the nation's proportionate share will be paid up front. Therefore, be it resolved, the Business Committee of the Quapaw Nation, that the nation's chairperson or an authorized representative of the Quapaw Nation is hereby authorized to execute this consent given for Chat sale and access over the nation's interest in Chat and property. Therefore, be it finally resolved that the Quapaw Nation requests that the Secretary of the Interior or an authorized representative approve said Chat sale located on a portion of an allotment. I move to approve Resolution 062125-O.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-O. Business Committee, is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-O, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. The motion carries. Resolution 062125-O is approved. Now, the next one is quite similar. It's resolution number 062125-P. It's a resolution to authorize the sale of the Quapaw Nation's restricted interest in Chat located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation. Whereas the Quapaw Nation's Business Committee supports the sale of the nation's interest in restricted chat, total tonnage to be purchased 8,000. The nation further agrees to grant access to the site to EPA and its contractors to remove said interest in chat, and further understands that the nation's proportionate share will be paid up front. Therefore, be it resolved, the Business Committee of the Quapaw Nation, that the nation's chairperson or an authorized representative of the Quapaw Nation is hereby authorized to execute this consent given for chat sale and access over the nation's interest in chat and property. Therefore, be it finally resolved that the Quapaw Nation requests that the Secretary of the Interior or an authorized representative approve said chat sale of the Blue Goose chat pile located on a portion of the allotment. I so moved to approve Resolution 062125-P.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-P. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-P, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion carries and Resolution 062125-P is approved. Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please take the next two?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Please bear with me on this one as it is a little long. Resolution number 062125-Q. A resolution to approve the retracement survey and adopt it as the official and authoritative survey of the Quapaw Nation Reservation. Whereas the Quapaw Nation is a federally recognized Indian tribe exercising retained inherent sovereign authority over its reservation located in northeast Oklahoma in the former Indian Territory, the tribe's reservation, and whereas the tribe's right to an undistributed homeland flows from its treaty engagement with the United States over the course of the late 18th and early 19th centuries. And whereas the Quapaw Nation's reservations subject to this retracement was established by the Treaty of February 23, 1867, and is adjacent and contiguous to the reservations of 7 other tribes: the Miami Tribe of Oklahoma, Peoria Tribe of Indians of Oklahoma, Seneca Cayuga Nation, Wyandotte Nation, Eastern Shawnee Tribe of Oklahoma, Modoc Nation, and the Ottawa Tribe of Oklahoma, which collectively comprise of 200,000 acres of Indian country. And whereas on September 8, 1874, Samuel S. Burdett, Commissioner of the General Land Office, contracted with Henry C.F. Hackbush for the survey of several Indian reservations established or altered by terms of the February 23, 1867 treaty. That work was approved by Burdett on March 22, 1875. The corners and lines of the respective reservations were monumented using the common practices of the time, typically with stone markers and sunken posts. And whereas in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the United States allotted much of the land of the tribe's reservation, resulting in a significant influx of non-Indian land ownership on the reservation. Based on allotment and the assimilation efforts employed by the United States during the same period, the state of Oklahoma considered the tribe's reservation to have been extinguished, and the United States failed to defend the tribe's interests. And whereas in 2020, the United States Supreme Court issued the decision in McGirt versus Oklahoma confirming that the allotment and non-Indian occupation of an Indian reservation did not affect its continued existence, and that only Congress, by clear and unequivocal expression, can disestablish or diminish an Indian reservation. And whereas the tribes of Northeast Oklahoma began implementing and enhancing governmental infrastructure to meet the demands of the sovereign responsibility flowing from the court's McGirt decision, including public safety and judicial responsibilities, the tribes further continued to work to connect their respective services to avoid gaps in service. And whereas a key question central to many of the tribe's efforts in the precise location of the reservation boundaries, reservation maps with the precise location of reservation lines were not available, and the United States lacked current precise maps and had not redrawn or resurveyed the reservation since its Hackbush 1874 survey. Further complicating matters, the United States had not maintained proper monumentation of the reservation boundaries. And whereas in July of 2023, the tribes determined to engage services to coordinate Geographic Information Systems, GIS, activities related to the tribe's reservation boundaries and surveying, who is a certified federal surveyor, to conduct a retracement survey of reservation boundaries, locating and, where necessary, remonumenting boundary markers, and to generate a restored map of all reservations of Northeast Oklahoma in both print and electronic format. The work. And whereas the services and the surveying methodology completed the work, and throughout the effort, the regular periodic working sessions and briefings with tribal leadership and or staff of the tribes, and whereas the work has been presented to the tribe for review and approval, whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee has reviewed the work and been fully advised by its members of the tribal working group, and finds the work to be in order and suitable for approval by the Quapaw Nation. Now, therefore, based on the foregoing, it is hereby resolved as follows. 1. The work including the retracement survey of the reservation boundary of the Quapaw Nation completed by the surveying and based on the 1874 field notes of the original surveyor, Henry C.F. Hackbush, in confirmation and restoration of monumentation of the lines and corners, be and the same hereby is approved. 2. The approved retracement survey of the Quapaw Nation reservation boundary shall hereafter be considered the official and authoritative boundary of the Quapaw Nation reservation. And 3. The Quapaw Nation's chair is authorized to take all steps needed to transmit the work to the tribe's non-tribal governmental counterparts, including but not limited to the United States Department of Interior, Ottawa County, and the city of Miami, Oklahoma. Madam Chair, I move that we adopt resolution number 062125Q.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-Q. Business Committee, is there any discussion?
Madam Chair, I'd just like to say that this is one of the great exercises of protecting our tribal sovereignty in going through this survey.
I agree with you. You know, the BIA, their maps aren't correct. BLM, their maps aren't correct. So the 8 land-based tribes up here in Northeast Oklahoma decided that instead of asking, we're going to tell what those reservation boundaries are. So once all the tribes complete this similar process, then we'll communicate the updated map that includes all of the boundary lines to the DOI, instructing them to update their records. So thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to read through all this because it tells the story. It tells the story. Any additional discussion? All right. All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-Q, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The motion carries. Resolution 062125-Q is approved.
Moving on to resolution number 062125-R, a resolution to authorize the use of trust restricted land located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation for farming and grazing, and to authorize the execution of the lease on behalf of the Quapaw Nation. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee supports entering into an agricultural lease for the use of the nation's restricted interests in the property described, the lease provides for a rental amount covering the term from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, as stated in the lease agreement. Now therefore be it resolved by the Business Committee of the Quapaw Nation that the tribal chairperson or an authorized representative of the Quapaw Nation is hereby authorized to execute a lease for farming and grazing and to promote tribal self-determination and such other uses as may be determined, including commercial operations acceptable to the lessor. Therefore, be it further resolved that the Quapaw Nation requests that the Secretary of Interior or an authorized representative to approve said lease. Madam Chair, I move to adopt Resolution 062125R.
We've got a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-R. Business Committee, is there any additional discussion? All those in favor of approving 062125-R, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The motion carries.
Madam Chair, I abstain.
Member Davis abstained. Brent. Resolution 062125-R is approved. Member Davis, would you take the next two?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution number 062125-S is a resolution requesting the Secretary of Interior to take a parcel of land consisting of approximately 175.93 acres, more or less, into trust for the benefit of the Quapaw Nation. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee desires that title to the land described below be conveyed to the United States of America in trust for the Quapaw Nation. Whereas the requested acquisition by the United States is fully consistent with the policy goals of the federal government in using trust acquisitions to address the needs of Indian country as contained in the provisions of 25 CFR 151.3A. Therefore, be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee deems it appropriate and in the best interest of the tribe to apply to have the title to the property as defined herein placed into trust by the United States of America for the benefit of the tribe. Therefore, be it further resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee hereby requests that the Secretary of the Interior, by and through his or her authorized representative, take into trust title to the above referenced property of approximately 175.93 acres, more or less, for the benefit of the Quapaw Nation. And therefore be it finally resolved, the Quapaw Nation Business Committee hereby authorizes the chairperson of the Business Committee, vice chair of the Business Committee, or an authorized representative of the Business Committee to execute and submit a fee to trust application with respect to the property described to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and to execute grant deeds and conveying title to the subject property to the United States of America to be held in trust for the Quapaw Nation. Madam Chair, I would so move to adopt resolution number 062125-S.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-S. Business Committee, is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-S, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Motion carries. 062125-S is approved.
Madam Chair, moving on to resolution number 062125-T. A resolution to approve Chair Weena Supernall to sign the Quapaw Nation Medical Director Professional Services Agreement. Whereas the Quapaw Nation's Business Committee wishes to approve Chair Weena Supernall to sign and facilitate the Quapaw Nation Counseling Services Medical Director Professional Services Agreement. Whereas this agreement is for 1 year and is effective from July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2026. Therefore, be it resolved by the Business Committee of the Quapaw Nation that the nation's chairperson is hereby authorized to execute the Quapaw Nation Counseling Services Medical Director Professional Services Agreement. Madam Chair, I would so move to adopt resolution number 062125-T.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-T. Business Committee, is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-T, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 062125-T is approved. Member Gibbs-Water, would you please take the last one?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 062125-U. A resolution to approve Chair Weena Supernall to sign the Quapaw Nation Counseling Services Professional Services Agreement. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee wishes to approve Chair Weena Supernall to sign and facilitate the Quapaw Nation Counseling Services Professional Services Agreement, whereas approving this agreement will allow the Quapaw Nation to bring a ADSAC facilitator back to the nation, whereas this agreement shall become effective as of the later date this agreement is executed by the last party to sign or the date of final approval of this agreement by the nation. Whereas this term of this agreement shall begin on the effective date of signature and shall continue until one of the parties terminates the agreement in writing, and therefore be it resolved by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee that the nation's chairperson is hereby authorized to execute the Quapaw Nation Counseling Services Professional Services Agreement. Business Committee also move to approve resolution number 062125-U.
We've got a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 062125-U. Business Committee, is there any discussion?
No.
All those in favor of approving Resolution 062125-U, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The motion carries. Resolution 062125-U is approved, and that brings us to the end of new business. So at this point, we're going to go on to donations. The very first one, is for the Wyandotte Bears Youth Football and Jen McLeod. Jen? Hold on just a second. Can we get a microphone that actually works?
Lean close to it.
Ooh. Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
Okay.
I am Cole Breckeisen. I'm the Wyandotte football president. We are seeking some donation for our league camp we're putting on. This will be the third year in a row we've been able to do this for the community. Everyone's involved in it. Last year, I think we had about 120 to 140 kids come out. We had, I think the farthest one was Kansas City. Him and his family had came out. We're seeking around $850 to provide shirts for the kids. Prices have gone up since the last year to this year. So that's just what we're trying to do for our community. Everyone's been involved and everyone's been helping in every way, and it's been fantastic so far.
Mm-hmm.
I have, can I give this like a little flyer deal?
Oh, great. Yeah.
This is my first one. No, you're good. They're the same line.
And I think we already found out that there are a number of Quapaw youth that are involved in this program. Yes. That was some of the information that was provided earlier.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to donate $500 to the Wyandotte Bears Youth Football.
I would second it.
We have a motion on the floor to approve a $500 donation to the Wyandotte Bears Youth Football. Business Committee, any further questions or discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving the $500 donation for the Wyandotte Youth Football Camp, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. All right, the motion carries and the $500 donation is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next we've got Cash and Peyton Finn. Do we know, Brent, I thought they were going to be here in person. Okay. All right, we're moving on. The next one, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Julia Peabushy, the Quapaw Native American Church.
Hey.
Way.
I'm coming to you guys today to ask for donations to help provide for our food, for our meals, and then doing our traditional prayers up there. We're usually there for 4 days, so we have small meals during the first couple of days, and then once you go in, we have a meal, and then another one once you come out, or actually a lot of meals.
And I think on here, Julie, it said that, the typical cost between 2,000 and 3,000 for each one of those 4 days. Thank you. So it is sizable. Okay.
Madam Chair, I believe last year we actually donated $5,000 for the entire year to the Quapaw Nation Native American Church. I would move to go ahead and match the same donation that we made last year in the amount of $5,000.
Second.
So we have a motion on the floor to approve a $5,000 donation to the Quapaw Native American Church. Business Committee, are there any further discussions or questions? All those in favor of approving the $5,000 donation to the Quapaw Native American Church, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no.
Madam Chair, just please note that I abstain because I participate up there.
One abstention by Member Davis. The motion carries and the $5,000 donation is approved. Julia, thank you.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to add to that a little bit and tell the rest of you thank you for doing that. Not only does the Quapaw Native American Church chapter participate, hold, and coordinate our peyote meetings, our way of life that we've had ever since our old chiefs put down the old ways of life. We picked up that medicine and we followed that as a people. I just want to tell you guys thank you. Not only do the members of our chapter help do that, but it's also the biggest force of participators in our language, our funerals, our dances, and almost every other facet of culture that our tribe participates in today. So, and I'm just a member. I'm not an officer or anything like that. But I just want to tell you guys thank you for that because it sure does help. And not only that, but we reach out and help a lot of folks throughout the year as best we can. And we do have skin in the game. We have an annual fundraiser benefit. We have a dance and a hand game, and we have skin in the game too. We're trying to keep our own funds raised. But anyways, I just want to say that much. Tell you guys thank you.
All right. The next one is the SASS. Catherine Smith.
My other person didn't show up. So SASS is a support group for women that we don't have around here for sexual assault, domestic violence, victims of crime, different things. They posted flyers in the football place and they do once a week here. We're just asking for that because the women that come at times seems to open them up to like we get in the kitchen and make a meal and it's just visiting opens them up a little bit. We have scheduling for different people to come and talk from different domestic violence programs. We have scheduling from the guys that we met up there in Oklahoma City from the FBI in Tulsa that's going to come down and speak on different resources and different things. But we're just asking for that for like social meals and notebooks for journaling, and stuff like that.
Is this already an established chapter and group going?
It's just a group. We've had 4 meetings so far. It's just a voluntary support group for women. That we've had one here in this building, but we also there's our church on Thursday.
Is this a national organization or is it like a 501c3?
In the area, it was just for the different tribal things, but we've opened it up to non-tribal people, and we've had a lot of people come, and we've been doing it ourselves. Me and Lynette at Blaylock have been doing it ourselves voluntarily, paying for the meals and things like that. But
How was this organization established?
just different women just contacting each other. It was just a little group of maybe 4 women at first in the chat group talking, and then we just started meeting, and now there's more that are wanting to join it. We have the support of, well, we did have Charles when we first started it, had the marshals coming and checking it because we something the women felt a little insecure
actually like to make a suggestion, if I may, and that is, based on our domestic violence, the program that we have for the victims of domestic violence as well as victims of crime. I'm wondering, Catherine, if it makes sense to get with family services and see if this support group, because I love the idea, people getting together and helping one another heal, but I'm wondering if there's something that we could do that makes it more substantial and funded by, maybe grant dollars, other fundraisers, things of that nature, to put some structure around it.
We've talked to them, and Michelle is working on that because of the privacy stuff and everything. With people, they couldn't get us in contact with them, but she's talking because they're talking to them, and then the different tribes, their domestic violence groups are also, people are also talking to their people. That's how some of them heard about it. So we're working on it.
I was just going to mention, as a former advocate in our domestic violence and working in family services, you can establish support, funds can be used to establish support groups. And I would strongly suggest maybe coordinating, as you have said, I know you guys have already reached out. And yes, there are the confidentiality, and you can't, what you hear there has to remain there, those sort of things. But I would pursue that avenue. And,
yeah, we're working with her on that.
okay.
I'll be happy to donate meat if you, whatever you guys need. If you guys lost chili or something like that, I'll be happy to donate some ground beef or whatever we need to
Just take kind of a note,
out with that.
kind of what they want to, just kind of stand around in the kitchen and cook, and we'll just buy the ingredients and just get to know each other, just cooking, and it seems to loosen them up more.
Yeah, and in reference to Mans, I too as well will contribute. Okay.
I'll get with Lynette and put a list of stuff that
Okay, absolutely. Thank you.
Food items that you need. Happy
Yes.
to. Happy to.
yeah, and like the stationery and stuff like that.
Reach out. Well, actually, I know where we can get some of the. I don't know if you've seen them, and but I have some like little note journals that I just keep when I come across people. And I don't know if you've seen them or not, but I think the front of it is something about the Sisters Journal. And I have a few of those at the house, and I'll go ahead and get those to you, and then I can reach out and potentially get more of those.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
So, and this would be in lieu of making a cash donation.
I'm
And
sending myself an email so I won't forget.
Yeah.
to reiterate on what everybody else said, if you'll just get us a list of food items, and then we will contribute to that, not as the nation, but we'll individually
Yeah.
contribute to that.
Great, thank you.
Okay. And I think you're up for an additional donation request for the
Yeah.
O-gah-pah MMIP chapter.
Yeah, we got our committee and stuff ready. We got our bylaws. It'll be an overnight stay for the state coalition. We'll be joining Minot Tribe.
Journals, yeah.
For the MMIP, it'll be known as that O-gah-pah MMIP chapter. Throughout, not just and we get our certification for that through them. And it won't be just within Oklahoma or our boundaries. It'll be nationwide. Tribal members, different ones that will have resources. That one of our tribal members, for example, lives in Washington, needs something that Washington State Coalition will help us with them and their resources as well. They have safe houses all over the U.S. that will have access.
Now, is this donation to establish the MMIP chapter?
No, it's to help 4 members of us of the committee that's going up. It'll be an overnight stay in Oklahoma City, where we get our coalition bylaws and different things, turn in the rest of our paperwork, and get our certification.
Did we approve something real similar to this a few months ago? It was more travel oriented, and I just remembered travel and connected with MMIP. Okay.
Have you all done any other fundraising or anything? Because I believe we did.
That's what we are going to do once we get our letter of certification, which we'll get that day, and then they're going to email one to to the tribe as well, and then that will get us our certification. We can start doing everything that we need to do to get it. Because, I mean, it's fairly new, we just got it.
And you did receive a donation previously within the last 3 months on the MMIP on this chapter.
That was like, no. No.
Yeah, we did approve one for $500. It was some sort of a gala, but it was for MMIP.
Oh, yeah, it was in October. It was for the gala.
That one for the gala was to go down and get the chapter started and talk with them. It was
Get the chapter started.
Initiation.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that was in October.
Anybody willing to make a motion?
Is the chapter formally established?
Just like, it was a couple of months ago, yes, and then they finished up the paperwork and get our actual state coalition certification. It said we'll be joining only 9 of the tribes throughout Oklahoma that have an actual
So is the formal establishment before the paperwork is completed or after it's completed?
It'll be completed once we get up there and turn in we just had to turn on our committee members and stuff like that, and then we get that. We got all that, and then we'll audit.
Is that what this travel is for? Is for getting the establishment finalized?
And that's 2 people?
Definitely 3 people, yeah.
In Oklahoma City, is that what it is?
See. I'll go ahead and make a motion for a donation in the amount of $500. Now, keep in mind, it requires a second for consideration, and then, of course, we've got to vote.
I'll second, but I do have one question. Are we doing any fundraisers to help
Yeah, we're gonna
raise
get-
money for this?
Yeah, we've got ideas for that already, and once we get our actual, like, certification that we are part of the state coalition, that's what we're gonna start doing, because then we can get the recognition of it, so, yeah, we've got
Okay.
ideas of it.
You'll be doing outside fundraisers once you get all this taken care of in order to help be sustainable.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I will second.
So we've got a motion on the floor for a $500 donation. Business Committee, is there any further discussion?
Madam Chair, I would just like to note that I will do on my own, or whatever, how to say this, but I will do the lodging and start them off with a tank of gas on their way.
Thank you, Member Davis. It's an important part of the discussion. Anything else, Business Committee? All those in favor of approving the $500 donation, please say aye. All those opposed, say no. Oh, we've got one aye. All those opposed, say no. No.
No.
Any abstains? Yes, we've got one abstain, Brenda. The motion fails, and the donation was not approved.
Thank you.
Is it okay if I have Brent?
Oh, yeah.
Catherine, I will have Brent book a room. If you'll just give him the location and the vicinity of where, and we'll find the hotel closest to you.
Madam Chair.
We're not in open forum yet, please.
I know, but it's along the line of donation.
Oh, okay.
Mia made it to Gulf Shore safely. They got there late, or I guess early Friday morning. She's enjoying the beach this morning. First competition is tomorrow at 8, and she will be there till about 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. So we just want to thank you again for
Well, hopefully they
supporting
get
her
some
and all
rest
her
today.
efforts. So just along the lines, I just wanted to say thank you and give you an update.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad they made their travel safely. That's important. All right, so that concludes item 11 on the agenda. We'll go to open forum. So keep in mind the rules remain in place. In order to speak, an individual must have submitted the form or must pertain to topics on today's agenda. There is a 5-minute time limit, 1 trip to the podium. Please be respectful and please use the microphone. No one submitted an open forum form this month. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on a topic from today's agenda? Ms. Julia Peebushy.
Happy Indigenous Day. Today's the 21st. Also, I had a question on the approval of housing policy and renovation. Are the tenants doing any community work together at the village?
Over in the new subdivision, Julia?
That was just a comment. I'm not, no questions or just an idea.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I think it's a fantastic idea to bring people together, and we already started seeing signs of that. When was that? On Wednesday evening? It's pretty cool. It's a great idea. Buddy?
Then it was also actually discussed about making like a community pavilion type place there where folks can gather. Yeah, it was also discussed possibly repurposing the barn that's on the property out there, and of course a playground as well, and making that like a gathering place where people could have little gatherings, parties, whatever, you know. So it's been discussed, and it's a possibility. Facilities is going to be working on something like that. So
I can tell you, Julia. Was it Wednesday evening? Wednesday evening, I have a family member that is residing in the O-Guah-Pah Housing Addition. And so Wednesday evening, another resident down the street, they were sitting outside drumming. And yes, and so I walked down there and was visiting with them. But anyhow, so across the road, you know where that Quonset hut type thing is, that lady that lives there had actually taken her lawn chair and brought it out to like the edge of her property line and was sitting and listening to the boys drumming. So that's encouraging. And there was other people out on their front porches in lawn chairs and things. So I'm excited about the neighborhood and the community involvement.
Powwow every weekend. Too.
Yeah.
All right, Buddy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Buddy Schapp. My question was in reference to Executive Director Helms's report, but I think Joey touched on it as well. So whichever one of you want to chime in, please do so. The Beaver Creek project, can you expand more on what that entails?
The Beaver Creek project is going to be a project to address Beaver Creek Springs that runs through the grounds from the edge of the property, kind of where your family's allotment is over on the fence, to the edge down here. What we're planning on doing is we're planning on making some sort of stem wall type formation along the creek to prevent any eroding, try to straighten the creek out as best we can. The hope is that we can fix the walls of the creek on both sides, because it's both lined up on north and south side with camps. You know, there are families who camp on the edge of the creek banks. And over the years, there's been so many backwater floods and erosions that it's been eating into those camps, and it's causing safety hazards throughout the years. Now, for a long time that I've worked here, it's a hard thing to do piece by piece by piece, year after year after year. So I got with our project manager, our executive director of facilities, different tribal members who thought about different ideas for it, got with them, and we started to formulate a plan. So that's what the purpose of the Beaver Creek project is to address the safety of the creek, safety of the camps, you know, something practical, something cost saving, not big and fancy, you know, nothing like a circus, no, nothing like that, just something real simple and practical.
Okay. So, well, there's rumors going around that you guys are going to concrete the banks or concrete or the bed. So I'm just wanting to know what the exact details are.
Now, I'm just one of 7 members on the business committee. and my vote, my opinion can be outvoted. You know, at the end of the day, it's a four vote majority that wins anything. But I don't want to put concrete on the bottom of that creek, and I don't want to have giant stem walls made of concrete. If I can keep it as simple with sloping up, some riprap to come out level with a concrete pad running straight down the creek line and have the ground brought up to that. Very gradual, very, very simple, no steep drops, you know, because children don't think about things like that. And I don't want it to be, I don't want all concrete, no. I want it to have as natural look as we can get. Now, that's just me, my own opinion, you know. Others might have a different view on it, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as we can get it.
Well, I have no doubt something needs to be done, but like I said, there was rumors going around, and I just wanted to get your input. In my opinion, concrete would be a horrible idea.
Yeah.
I think riprap and maybe some vegetative measures would be much
Yeah.
better. Well, thanks for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you, buddy. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
And if you have any, buddy, if you have any further suggestions, feel free to reach out and we can talk about it. All right.
Everett Bandy.
I had a question regarding 062125S, 175.93 acres. I was just curious where that was.
Western Pitcher.
Okay, it's a really large tract of land. I'm
It's currently used for row crops.
Awesome. And then I wanted to also wish Grace Good Eagle a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Grace.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Grace. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Is there anybody else who would like to speak to something on today's agenda? Hi, Grace.
Hey, China.
I had a question about the upcoming powwow, and maybe this is a question to the grounds. I had heard that parking is a problem. And I heard that the camps were going to only have 3 parking permits.
That's what's always been.
Yeah.
Because I'm concerned about our elders trying to get from one place to another.
Now, we are going to have the, what do they call them, the side-by-sides that will be at the top of the hill, ready to transport folks to, you know, where they need to go.
Taxis.
Taxis.
Taxi carts.
Yes. Because I think that's really helpful for a lot of people, Grace.
Yeah.
I have a request. Can the general managers of the 3 casinos appear at general council? We have never seen a general manager from Saracen.
They were here and addressed general council. I want to say that was in 2021 or 2. We saw a flyover video of the planned hotel and event center. That I distinctly recall. As of yesterday, I think the result was, based on some other requests, that each of the GMs and their teams, they'll be recording 3-minute videos for general council that will be played during that venue.
Are the general managers going to be there?
No. Can they identify themselves? Oh, okay, sure. If the technology works, we'll give it a minute. Otherwise, we're moving on.
Sorry, I was trying to get logged in.
Hi, is that Sean?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Great.
Sorry, I had to close that slide. Yeah, so I had a question on the Saracen use of the revolving line of credit Q4. By drawing down on that, how much does that increase our interest rate on that property? Also, when was the line of credit taken out for that casino, and why are they having to draw down? Have they gone over construction budget?
So I think there are probably 3 questions in there, Sean, and I'll give it a shot. We might have to follow up on a couple of things. The revolver was actually negotiated as a part of the latest refinancing of Saracen that occurred, was that January of 2024?
Correct.
Yeah, January 2024, when we refinanced the debt on Saracen Development LLC, it also included accommodation for that revolver. The revolver was necessary because we knew that the cash in reserves would be insufficient to fund 100% of the development. Therefore, that was built into a part of that refinancing deal, and the revolver was included in that. So yes, when drawdowns are taken, and they have to be approved on a quarterly basis, and they're being approved by both the DDA as well as the business committee, it does indeed increase the amount of interest that actually needs to be paid. I do not know the actual amount of interest that we have paid exclusively on the revolver since we had to start taking the drawdowns. And then I think you had one other question, Sean. My apologies.
No, so the other one was just that did they go over budget is the reason that they're having to use on this drawdown. But didn't we also refinance Saracen in last August as well?
No, we refinanced Saracen in January of 2024.
Okay.
Yes, and we have not gone over budget. We signed a gross maximum price contract, and we are still working within the confines of that.
Madam Chair, I'm going to make a correction here. The refinance was actually executed on August 29th of 2024.
Thank you. I stand corrected, Sean. Did you hear Secretary Treasurer?
Yeah. Yes, I did. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Anybody else? All right. Member Mercer, would you please close us out in prayer?
Father, we come before you today. We thank you for guiding hand over our meeting with our people. Thank you for everyone that has arrived here safely. We ask your blessings upon them as they depart this facility. Give them safe travels back home. Reach out to those of us that are feeling under the weather, those that are ill and in need. Bless them, lift them up, give them encouragement. And in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, we ask these things.
Amen. Chair, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.